Don't do a no-buy year. Just don't do it. There's a better way, and I'm going to prove it to you with pizza. I'm Ben. This is Sketchy Advice, a show where we talk about money advice that actually works. In 2002, a bunch of psychologists got together to ask a question that's been on everybody's mind. Can you change how many pizza toppings people will put on a pizza? I promise that this is relevant. They split people into two groups. One group ordered pizza the way you normally do, by starting with a blank pizza and just adding toppings until you're satisfied. The other group was given a pizza order with every topping on it, and they had to remove toppings until they were satisfied. Now, in theory, both groups should have had about the same average amount of pizza toppings because all you're doing is changing how they're ordering it. But that isn't what happened. The people who were forced to remove toppings consistently wound up with more on their pizza than people who just ordered the normal way. Pizza Hut, do not get any ideas. This is not how I want to order. Let's take another example. Let's say I walk up to you and give you $100. And I say, you can keep that, or we could go double or nothing. We could flip a coin. Heads, you get $200. Tails, you get nothing. What would you do in that scenario? Now let's change the scenario a bit. Let's say you owe me $100, but I say, all right, I'm a nice guy. We'll do double or nothing. Flip a coin. Heads, you don't owe me anything. Tails, now you owe me $200. What would you do in that scenario? Psychologists Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky did this actual experiment with people, and they found a pretty consistent and strange result. When you give people $100 up front, they generally just walk away. They don't want to take the bet. But if people stand to lose $100, they are much more likely to go for that coin flip, even though mathematically those decisions are functionally the same. So how do we explain these overloaded pizzas and these weird coin tosses? The answer is something called loss aversion. As a rule, humans hate losing things. We hate losing things way more than we like getting things. If you think back in terms of our survival days, this is pretty smart. It generally makes more sense to hang on to what you have, a sure thing, than to try and go get something else. Two birds, one stone is worth one in the bush, as they say. Study after study has shown that humans will do irrational or risky things just in order to avoid a loss. That's just how our brains are wired. So think about how your brain feels about a no-buy year. A whole year literally defined by cutting a bunch of stuff. That is loss, 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 loss. No, you can't go out to eat. No, you can't buy that new sweater. No, you can't go to that concert. Do you think your pizza brain wants to do that? Personally, I think this is why we see way more videos and TikToks about people starting a no-buy year than we do about people reflecting on a no-buy year. So I said there's a better way. What is it? Most people who want to do a no-buy year want to see a positive change in their finances. They want to save more money for things they care about. They want to waste less money on things they don't. Rather than framing that as no-buy or low-buy, try framing it this way. What do I want to spend more money on? The people who tend to be most successful with no-buy years are people who also have some really positive, tangible goals, like paying down student loan debt or saving up money for a down payment. So rather than focusing on, I want to cut this, and I want to cut this, and I want to cut this, instead focus on, what do I want my money to do? What do I want to spend more on? By reframing it this way, we're moving away from this kind of cutback mentality that's really popular in the personal finance space and really unpopular with your brain, and we're moving towards what we at YNAB call spendfulness. Spendfulness is just knowing who you are, what you care about, and spending accordingly. It's aligning your money with your values and desires. So rather than doing a no-buy or a low-buy, here is a really practical way to help you send money toward those things you actually care about. Identify those positive goals, and then think about how much money you would like to have for each of them each month. If it's a bigger goal, think about how much you'd like to have at the end of this year and divide that number by 12. Once you've got those written down with the amounts you want, write down everything else you spend money on, your bills, your necessities, your discretionary, everything. You'll also want to write down the things that you're saving for or preparing for, like a family trip or car repairs or whatever. Once you've written all that down, you have what I call your CTBY, your cost to be you. This is how much money you need to set aside each month to cover all the things you need to spend on and all the things you're saving up for. Now compare that number to your monthly income. If your income is equal to or higher than your CTBY, then good news, you can do all those things that you want to spend more money on and cover your life. Maybe all you needed was just a little intentionality, and I just saved you from doing a whole flippin' no-buy year for no doggone reason. But there's a good chance your income is going to be lower than your CTBY. This is where we use loss aversion in our favor. We circle those things we care about, the things we really want to spend more on. And then we ask, what is taking money away from this thing right now? What is less important that is stealing money from these priorities? I'm going to go fix that. Instead of framing this whole thing as just cutting back, you're framing it as protecting and pursuing the things you really care about. And your brain is a big fan of that. In fact, one study found that one of the most effective ways we can cut out behavior we don't want to have is doing something called future focus priming. It's just taking 30 or 60 seconds to think about what you want your life to look like, to think about the goals you want to pursue, whether that's having more energy from eating healthier, or having a better relationship with your kids because you're spending more time with them, or having more peace of mind because you know you have a big fat emergency fund. Taking just a little bit of time every day to focus on those things actually recontextualizes all the other behaviors that tend to keep you back from those things. Instead of thinking of this goal as cutting all the fun out of your life, you're now thinking of all these behaviors as holding you back from this goal. You're doing an Uno reverse on loss aversion. You're doing psychological judo. Now, if you want to learn more about how to make a plan that is going to help you pursue and protect those goals, you can check out my video, the most important money video you'll ever watch. And if you want a tool that has helped me and thousands of other people pursue their goals without doing a freaking no-buy year, then you can go to ynab.com/sketchy to try out a 34-day free trial of the YNAB app. It is going to help you give your dollars jobs. It is going to help you protect those goals. It is good stuff, man. Yes, it does cost money after the trial, but on average, most people make that money back 6 times over after just 2 months. I'll take that over a no-buy year any day. So instead of making 2025 your no-buy year, how about you make 2025 your spendful year? And who knows? That might just be the start of a spendful life. And I'll drink to that.